Hello future officers, welcome to EduTap and welcome to another important session of the CT 360 series in which we cover the most important GA and ESI current affairs. And today, my dear friends, I have brought out the current affairs from the date of 19 to 21st of November 2023. And let me tell you that today once again I am having a very important topic, that is on the major update on the PLI scheme 2.0 for IT hardware. So my dear friends, today we are going to discuss so many topics which are basically from the date of 19 November to 21st November 2023. But before moving on to the topics, I want all of you to give me a thumbs up in the chat box if I'm audible and visible to all of you, so that we can begin this particular session. So I want all of you to tell me if I'm audible and visible so that we can begin this particular session. So I can see here that yes, I have got the responses from the people. So before starting the session, let's first of all discuss the homework question that we had in the previous session. The homework question was basically on the World Fisheries Day. So my dear friends, when I talk about this particular day, it is being celebrated every year on 21st of November, and the theme of this day was celebrate the fisheries and aquaculture wealth. So that is basically the right part. Moving on to the next question. The next question was on the IPEF framework, and here you were required to identify the correct statement, guys. The right answer to this question was option E, that all the statements which are mentioned above are absolutely right. So my dear friends, good evening, Durga. I hope that all of you are really preparing well. And now when I talk about the topics that we will be discussing in the today's session. So today we are going to discuss the topics, but before that, let's discuss the shining stars. The shining stars are those people who have answered the questions correctly to all the homework questions that we have presented and posted to you for the previous session. And here you can see a long list of people. So Durga, Shreyashi, Purushottam, Simili, Riyadh, Sejal, Urbansari, Molly. So all the people are there who have answered the questions correctly, and well done, my dear friends. Just keep up the momentum, and you have answered the question correctly. That shows that your understanding levels are absolutely right and your preparation is in the right direction for the upcoming exam. And my dear friends, now when I talk about the topics that we are going to discuss today, so we are going to discuss some topics which are relevant for only phase 1 and some topics which are relevant for both phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1 से हम करेंगे संविधान दिवस, Conference on Aerospace and Aviation, IFFI Award, newly elected Prime Ministers and Presidents of the various countries. Apart from that, from phase 1 and phase 2, we will be covering Project Collaboration Agreement, PLI Scheme 2.0 for the IT hardware. So these are the topics that we are going to discuss in the today's session. So let's start the session with the very first topic, which is only relevant for phase 1, that is Samvidhan Divas. So Samvidhan Divas, guys, that is also known as the Constitution Day. It is celebrated every year. On which date it is being celebrated? Every year on 26th of November. And why it is being celebrated? It is being celebrated to commemorate the day on which the Constituent Assembly has adopted the Constitution of India. And my dear friends, when I talk about that particular date, it was being adopted on 26th of November 1949. Please mark this year, because such kind of questions we have seen that they are being asked in the exam, and right now the exam trend is being changing, so that is why we must cover such kind of details as well. Apart from that, when I give you another important statement, guys, let me tell you that the Constitution of India came into force on 26th of January 1950. Another important point that you should remember from the exam point of view. And let me tell you, my dear friends, that as per the Constitution of India, the constitutional head of the executive of the Union is the President of India. Now let me tell you another important point, that as per the Article 74(1) of the Constitution of India, it basically provides us the facility of the Council of Ministers, and this Council of Ministers will be headed by the Prime Minister, and basically together they will be advising the President of India, and that is something that all of you are really required to note down from the exam point of view. So that's all from this particular news article. So this year we are celebrating the 73rd Constitution Day. I hope this is clear to all of you. Let's move on to the next important topic, that is basically a conference on aerospace and aviation in 2047. So my dear friends, this particular conference was basically organized by the Aeronautical Society of India in New Delhi. Let me tell you that Aeronautical Society of India with this conference has celebrated its 75th year of establishment. And when I talk about this particular part, it was established in 1948. And you must be surprised to hear that the person who was the first patron-in-chief of this Aeronautical Society of India, it was Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru ji. And apart from that, when I talk about the present president who is serving as the president of the Aeronautical Society of India, the name of the person is Dr. G. Satish Reddy. So I hope that these points are very much clear to all of you guys. Please make sure that yes, you are covering the news articles in a very comprehensive manner, covering all the important dimensions as well, and also the background of such kind of news articles. Let's move on to the next topic. And the next topic is basically Madhuri Dixit has been recently honored with a special recognition for contribution to the Bharatiya Cinema Award at the 54th International Film Festival, which is being taking place in Goa. So that was quite a one-liner question, guys. Only this statement, only this particular part is enough for you to cover from the exam point of view. Now let's move on to the next one-liners. And in this part, we will be covering the important person who have been elected as the president as well as the prime minister of other countries, and what exactly these people are. These people are, first of all, Luc Frieden, who has become the prime minister of Luxembourg. Luxembourg, the nation whose capital city is Luxembourg City. When I talk about the next important part, that Javier Milei has basically won the Argentina's presidential elections. अगर हम बात करते हैं अर्जेंटीना की, तो अर्जेंटीना की जो करेंसी है, that is Argentine peso, and the capital of Argentina is Buenos Aires. So these are the details that we are required to remember from the exam point of view. When I talk about the third important one, the news article, that is Pedro Sánchez for his re-election as the Prime Minister of Spain. If I talk about the Spain, guys, Spain की capital है Madrid, और Spain की जो currency है, that is the euro. So all these details are really very important. जब भी कोई ऐसी country news में आती है, so we are required to cover that what exactly is the capital city and what is the currency of that particular part, because they can be asked in the exam. I hope this point is clear to all of you. So these were the topics that we were required to cover from the phase 1 point of view. Let me tell you that you must be thinking that there is a very important news, which is that India has lost the World Cup final against Australia, and Australia has won the ICC Cricket 2023 World Cup. Let me tell you, we will be covering that news article in a detailed manner in our next session. So stay tuned for that as well. And now let's move on to the topics that are important for phase 1 and phase 2. And the first topic that we are going to discuss in the today's part is basically the project collaboration agreement. So guys, let me tell you that the project collaboration agreement has been recently signed between WHO and the Ministry of Ayush. So they have basically signed this agreement for the traditional and complementary medicine. ठीक है, अगर हम बात करते हैं इस particular agreement की, the objective is basically under this agreement they will be standardizing the traditional and complementary medical system. वो क्या करेंगे, integrate करेंगे quality and safety of this particular system, and they will integrate it into the national health system of India, and further they will be resonating it to the global level at an international level. And my dear friends, let me tell you that in order to achieve this objective, इस objective को पूरा करने के लिए what they will be doing, they will be creating a traditional medicine global strategy 25 to 34, and this will be prepared jointly by the World Health Organization and the Ministry of Ayush. So I hope this point is clear to all of you. See, this point is really very much important from the exam point of view, that they will be jointly making the traditional medicine global strategy, and the timeline for that will be 2025 to 2034. Please mark down the year as well, because it is important to be covered. Apart from that, when I talk about this particular agreement, under this, they will also be formulating the guidelines so that these traditional medicine systems can be listed, and they will also strengthening the system of training and practice in the field of complementary medicine system. Let me tell you guys that this is basically the third project collaboration agreement which has been signed between the WHO and the Ministry of Ayush. Do you guys remember the earlier two? Let me tell you, do not worry about it. I will be covering that as well in the today's session. If I talk about the previous one, so basically earlier it was signed in 2016. जिसके अंदर they were targeting to basically take traditional medical systems like Yoga, Ayurveda, Unani and Panchkarma to the global level. India से उसे pick करके global level पर ले जाने का उनका basically target था. The next agreement was signed in 2017, in which they decided to strengthen the system of Ayurveda, Unani and Siddha medical system. तो पहले जो पहला agreement था उसके अंदर what they have done, they have basically take it from India to the global level. In the second one, in the second agreement, they have basically strengthened the system of Ayurveda, Unani and Siddha medical system. So I hope that this point is clear to all of you guys. Let's move on to the next important news article, the most important one from the exam point of view. That is the recent update of the PLI scheme for IT hardware. So what is the update? The update is government has approved 27 manufacturers under the PLI scheme 2.0 for IT hardware. And you know guys that as per this particular government of India, as Union Cabinet has approved these 27 manufacturers, so what will be the impact? See, जब भी ऐसे कोई approval होता है, लोगों को यहाँ पर allow किया जाता है to basically work under that particular part. So what will be the impact? Let me tell you that it will lead to the employment of about 2 lakh people, about 50,000 direct and 1.5 lakh indirect employment will be generated. That means economy of the India is really going to have a big boost. Apart from that, value of IT hardware production will become 3,50,000 crore rupees, that is 42 billion US dollars. So these are the really important one. As you can see that investment by the companies will also be increasing. Let me tell you guys, that is basically the objective of this scheme, that is PLI scheme 2.0 for the IT hardware, that is to invest in the IT hardwares and to bring investment from the foreign companies as well. Let us discuss the scheme in the detailed manner, and let me tell you that this scheme was basically launched in 2023. Objective, as I already told you, कि इसके अंदर क्या करेंगे, they will be giving the production linked incentives. और किसको दिया जाएगा? To the बेसिकली द रीजन बिहाइंड दैट इज डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को हम बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, उसको बूस्ट करना चाहते हैं, उसको एनकरेज करना चाहते हैं. The domestic manufacturing of IT hardware, and that is why we also require some large investments, and that is the reason, that is the objective of the PLI scheme 2.0 for IT hardware. Next important thing is the scheme's tenure, that is till 31st March 2031. फाइनेंशियल आउटले की बात करते हैं गाइस. एवरी स्कीम हैज सम फाइनेंशियल आउटले एंड द फाइनेंशियल आउटले फॉर दिस स्कीम इज 17,000 crore rupees. टारगेट सेगमेंट्स की अगर हम बात करें, लेट मी टेल यू वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट फ्रॉम दिस स्कीम, दैट व्हाट इज द टारगेट सेगमेंट. सो दिस includes the laptops, tablets, all-in-one personal computers, servers and the small form factor devices. Apart from that, let me tell you that there are 3 categories of applicants under this scheme. तो ये 3 applicant कौन से होंगे? These 3 applicants will be global companies, hybrid which are both global and domestic, and the domestic companies. और अगर हम बात करते हैं कि number of applications जो allowed है per applicant for support, it is basically restricted to just 1 applicant. I hope this point is clear to all of you. Let's move on to some other important points from this particular scheme, and here you can see the most important point, that is the incentive. As I told you, incentive will be provided to these schemes. So here incentive per company which will be applicable on net incremental sale of the manufactured goods. अगर हम बात करते हैं global company की, that will be maximum for 4,500 crore rupees. If I talk about the hybrid company, it will be 2,250 crore, and for the domestic companies guys, it is going to be 500 crore rupees. So that is basically the thing that we are required to cover from the exam point of view. Apart from that guys, let me tell you कि अगर कोई eligible था for the PLI scheme for IT hardware, that particular person, that particular organization can also will also be eligible under the PLI 2.0. तो यहाँ पर अगर वो किसी और स्कीम का भी फायदा ले रहा था, if he was availing the benefit of other scheme as well, then also that particular organization will also be able to take the benefit of this particular scheme. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now there is another important point, that this particular part, अगर हम बात करते हैं कि अगर हम क्वालिफिकेशन क्राइटेरिया की बात करें, तो उसके लिए जो बेस ईयर होगा guys, if I talk about the base year for that particular part, that will be 2021 to 22. ठीक है जी, तो दैट विल बी बेसिकली द बेस ईयर फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर स्कीम. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू. सो नाउ माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, let's move on to the important thing. As we have already covered the scheme, we have already covered the important information. Let's see that whether you have retained all the important points or not, whether you have gathered all the important data from this particular scheme or not, and the other news articles. The best way is to solve the MCQs on the same. So here is the very first question for all of you, and I want all of you to tell me the right answers in the chat box. तो अपने अपने right answers को जल्दी बताइए chat box के अंदर. पहला question है संविधान दिवस. संविधान दिवस कौन सी डेट को सेलिब्रेट किया जाता है? अ वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन. वी आर स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन गाइस. लेट्स सी दैट हु विल टेल मी द राइट आंसर. द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज ऑन द संविधान दिवस एंड हियर आई कैन सी दैट Channa, Durga, Maharshi, everybody is saying option A, 26 November. Absolutely right. Option A is the right answer. Well done, guys. Let's move on to the next question. So now let's move on to some difficult kind of question. The next question is here on the screen on the PLI scheme 2.0 for IT hardware. So you have to go through the statements, identify the correct statement here. ठीक है जी. So यहाँ पर guys आपको identify करनी है correct statement. पहली statement की बात करते हैं. So we have already covered. It will be boosting the domestic manufacturing and attract large investments in the value chain. ठीक है. तो हमने already इसको discuss किया था. So what will be the right answer? The statement 1 is absolutely right. Second statement states that there are two categories of applicants. Global company and domestic companies. So third statement states the incentives applicable under the scheme for 6 years depending upon the application. So let me tell you guys, the third statement is absolutely right. ठीक है, this was a additional information that the incentives, जो incentives होंगे इस particular application के अंदर, they will be applicable for 6 years. ठीक है. So what is the right answer here? So absolutely I can see most of the people are saying that statement number 2 is incorrect because it states that there are two categories of applicants, but we all know that there are three categories of applicants. One was the hybrid companies that are both domestic as well as the global. So what will be the right answer? Option D, statement 1 and 3 are absolutely right. Absolutely right, Maharshi, Durga, all of you have given me the right answer. The right answer is option D, that is both 1 and 3. Let's move on to the third question. So third question is on the traditional and complementary medicine project collaboration agreement. So you are required to identify the incorrect statement with respect to this particular agreement. तो पहला statement आप सभी के सामने है. It is signed between WHO and Ministry of Ayush, which is absolutely right as per the discussion. I believe कि आप सभी भी agree करेंगे मुझसे that yes, this statement is absolutely right. ठीक है, तो ऐसी ही statements आपको एग्जाम में देखने को मिलती हैं. In the RBI Grade B officer exam, NABARD exam, we have seen this year that such kind of questions are being asked in the exam. So let's move on to the second statement. It seeks to standardize traditional and complementary medical system, integrate their quality and safety aspects into the national health system. So second statement is absolutely right. So third statement है आपका ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन ग्लोबल स्ट्रेटेजी बनाई जाएगी फॉर 2025 to 2050. ठीक है. Fourth statement is it will strengthen the system of training and practice in the field of complementary medicine system. So आपके सामने क्वेश्चन है, आपको मुझे बताना है चैट बॉक्स के अंदर कि कौन सी स्टेटमेंट इनकरेक्ट है फॉर द क्वेश्चन नंबर 3. I can see here Durga, Maharshi, Channa, all the people are saying option C is the right answer. Absolutely right. What is the incorrect part here? The incorrect part is this timeline. It should be 2025 to 2034. And if this number would have been there, then the statement would have been correct. Absolutely, all the people have given me the right answer. That really shows, guys, that yes, you have got all the important points from these news articles that we have covered in the today's session. And now let us move on to the homework question from the today's session. So all the people who want to become the shining stars of this session, make sure that you are answering this question in the comment section of this particular session. So my dear friend, this is the homework question. This question is basically on the recent changes that took place in the world politics. As I already discussed, the prime ministers and presidents which have been recently appointed of the different countries like Luxembourg, we have Spain, we have Argentina. So this is the question you have to answer. The next question here is on the PLI scheme for 2.0 for IT hardware. So please try to answer this question as well in the comment section. Let me see who will be the shining star for this session of EduTap. I hope that all of you have really got this particular 2 questions, guys. And if you are still new to your YouTube channel, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates of the courses and videos offered by us. And you can also join our Telegram channel to get the access to the PDF of these sessions. और जो link है Telegram channel का आपको नीचे description के अंदर मिल जाएगा. ठीक है? So I hope कि आज का session आप सभी को काफी पसंद आया होगा. Do let me know about the session, and the most important thing is do let me know in the chat box that what exactly are the right answers to the questions that I have mentioned here as the homework questions. And let me see in the next session who will be the shining star of the today's part. Okay, and if you are still having any kind of queries, guys, from the session, please feel free to post down your queries in the comment section and I will be answering your queries there. And apart from that, you can also share your queries at hello@edutap.co.in, and you can also call us at 814-620-7241. So my dear friends, I will be meeting you in the next session. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy. Wish you all happy learning.